everyone. It's your favorite dynamic duo, Marcus, the favorite gentleman, and
Karmea Wells and Unorthodox Southern Belle.
today we have a very special guest, a very special treat for you guys. We have this powerhouse speaker that I was able to recruit because we wanted to talk about HR, right? I think people overlook HR and don't consider all the things that HR is involved with the hiring process. What do you think, Carmia?
I think it's very broad. People don't know exactly what goes, well, all the things that have to go into the hiring process, getting the right people, making sure you say the right things legally as well. But I got a lot of questions about this because, hey, I've been in the management position before, and knowing of what you can't say, what you can say, how you hire, etc.
Absolutely. And we have a dedicated human resources professional with over 15 years of diverse experience in both public and private sectors. She's a graduate of Johnson and Wales University in North Miami, Florida. Miss Nadia has attained a Bachelor's of Science in Marketing and also an Associate of Science in Business Administration. Miss Nadia has served in human resources in the Virgin Islands, all the people helping people, and she's here today on the Gentleman Style Podcast show to help people figure out what it is you and I need in order to land our dream job. So help us welcome to the stage the incredible Miss Nadia Fearon. Welcome, sis. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Doing
Good.
Dango. We are excited to have you here on the Gentleman Style Podcast show. And you are a true blue professional. And I want to kick it off with a very simple question is what made you decide to get in the HR space? Because that's a unique space, but a necessary space. Why did you get involved in HR? Why not doing hair or nails or I don't what's another Hovenza, right? Hovenza
Right.
is always WAPA. WAPA is always hiring. Why HR?
I was never an outside person. Never. I'm not. My mom loves to farm. She loves to grow stuff. I am not that person. I don't even want to water her plants if she goes away. I'm not an outside person. So let's start there. But how I got into HR, I actually was in a management role at the time before I decided to go into HR. I do have my bachelor's in marketing, but I was managing a 911 call center. And that I did a lot of the HR stuff. I helped with recruiting, interviewing, onboarding employees and different things like that. And then of course I got to do some of the fun stuff like employee engagement, and then an opportunity arose. My the HR person that was working at the agency at the time, she received an opportunity for another agency, and she trusted me as she knew my talent, and she had some faith in me, and she decided to offer me a position with her, and I decided to take her up on her offer. That's how I got into HR.
And how has the roller coaster been for you? How has that ride and that journey been? That's not easy. That's not an easy profession to get into. I heard
Um,
though it's very lucrative and it can be very financially rewarding with the right certifications and the right experience.
I think pay wise, salary wise, for it to be lucrative, we could get into that. It won't be in government, VI government. Let's
What?
start there. Let's start there.
They
Um,
just did the pay raises.
but that the pay raise went to, well, they just passed a law. I think I just screenshot it for my um for reference later on, because they just passed a bill to increase the minimum wage for government workers from 27, I think, to 35. So let's just start there. So we still have people in the VI government making less than $30,000 a year.
Oh
So that's a
my.
big deal. This bill, 35 does not sound good to anybody that lives out of the territory, but that's definitely going to be a big deal for a lot of individuals that work in the territory.
So what does that mean? Is there a lack of training? Is it the school system? What tips can you give to someone who's making 30? What I mean, what industry is that? What industry is someone making $30,000 a year? What are the
Um,
industries
we
that?
can start at like maintenance workers, people like previously to my current position, I was working at waste management. So the solid waste and the wastewater folks, some of them make less than 30,000. Um, but you know, your general maintenance, your custodians, those type of employees could make less than $30,000 a year.
Absolutely. What are some
So,
thriving industries in the Virgin Islands that job seekers should look into, that is making good money?
Well, of course, I work for the Territory Emergency Management Agency. So places like disaster recovery or anything that it could get into disaster recovery or hazard mitigation, those things are very much thriving right now. Even though we like 6 years out of the disaster recovery is still ongoing. So those types of industry, both in like emergency management agencies and other agencies like DPNR have similar roles. So those are the places where they definitely gonna make some money. Engineering, of course, as we go into recovery and rebuilding, they are always looking for engineers in every agency. But the drawback to that is once you pay that much money to be certified with whatever certification you need for engineering, coming back to the Virgin Islands, starting off fresh out of school, you might not make the six figures immediately.
Why not?
mm,
You might not. You might not because some of the agencies might not have that money to free up to pay you right off the bat. Unless
so
it's
it's
an agency that has federal funding that might be tied into to whatever grant or whatever they're
mm.
working on, what project they're working on, you might not see $100,000 right off the bat. Uh, that's the truth.
So it's going to be based off of the current economy,
Yes.
and what they have available
What
for
is
grants.
available? Exactly.
Ooh.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's BS.
So
That's
would
B-
you say, I hate to say it, I'm going to ask this question, but I think I know the answer. Would you say it's better for them to go forward to just get, once they get the certification and the schooling that they need, just go ahead and go outside of the island for what they need
I
because they're not going to get it. I'm just being
I know
honest.
you're just being honest, right? For me, I think because even though they might go to UVI here, I came to realize that while I was working at the previous agency, even though they
Mm.
go to UVI here for the degree in engineering, they still have to attend, I think, a semester or two in a school in the States to be certified, to be, to get the full certification for engineering. At some point, I think they could start off once they get the degree while they're still working on their certification. I think they could start off or try to get into an entry level. So while they're doing the certification, they might be making maybe 85, 90, and then build those relationships that way. Once they get their certification, I could see an agency trying to keep them and building them up as they go. But to say that agency would have the money to take somebody fresh off the street, even though they have the certification, I have seen those letters like thanks but no thanks. That's no money.
I need you to pay me
Ooh.
what I'm worth.
Yeah, I
Pay
have
me.
seen
That
those.
is why there's so much job hopping now because people are
Yeah,
looking for their worth. They're like, look, if you can't afford it, somebody else will. I'll just travel over there to get what I need or what
and
I want.
companies and agencies kind of have to realize that this is that younger generation I think I'm 42. And I was the type that was loyal to a fault. So if I wanted to stay with that one job, like I said, when my old supervisor offered me that position, it took me like right up until the deadline to decide I was going to take that opportunity because I was so loyal to the agency I was working
Woo.
with at the time. But the younger generation, they're not like that. They are jumping from job to job, and I now have come to be the same way. I'm like, wherever the
Eh,
money's at,
where the
wherever
money's
I
at.
can feel safe mentally, like wherever, like
I'm where that cash at, baby.
yeah.
Where that
So
cash at? I'm
that's
jumping.
that's life now. So I think agencies kind of have to realize that, and
Hmm.
they have the wake up call. They seen it because I am telling you, people are leaving, and it's not just the territory because, like I said, there's a lot of federal work going on here. So there's still federal people here, jobs or opportunities. They're doing consult work. After they got all the training from the agency, now they're going private and they're doing consultation work. So there's money to be made. There's money to be made.
Absolutely. We have a
Sure.
question from Journey to Love.
Hmm.
Are there any incentives to keep professional talent in the Virgin Islands that you've seen?
I think that's still a work in progress. Just a few weeks ago when they had that big debate, when they had the call to return to the VI, that was a huge debate. And I mean, this is like I mentioned, this is not the VI when our parents were growing up. So things that was important to them, like GRS, oh, you want to get a job so you could get that retirement plan. That don't look good to me now. I pulled my
The
annual report.
the retirement don't look good.
Not to like for me, it is like there's security for the older folks, but for me now I'm vested in the retirement system. I put my annual the other day. They still saying I've already put in 16 years with the government. They're saying I think I need to do 28 more to get my full benefits.
On top of the 16.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's why I'm not invested. Because if I'm not in the pension, baby,
Yes.
look.
I mean, but what's the flip? Because I went to a little get together last weekend for some of my classmates and from high school, and some of them were talking about losing money from their 401k with everything that's going on now. So I guess you gotta weigh your pros and cons. Of course in St. Croix it's more expensive than living in the States, but it's not as expensive as living in St. Thomas. Rent in St. Thomas is high, grocery shopping high, everything, you know what I'm saying? So there is pros and cons to everything. If there's an opportunity for you to come back for a couple years to work on one of those projects as an engineer, and they're offer you a good salary, you might have family here that you could live with. I've seen places that offer relocation if they offer incentives for you to come back. It's a conversation to be had.
I need some help.
Sure.
I need some help. What are job seekers in the Virgin Islands taking advantage of remote work opportunities? Like I'm in the mainland, but I'm born and raised in the Virgin Islands. Would you pay me to work remotely as an HR representative? Would that be a
I
good
would.
counter offer?
I would. However, being that I represent the VI government, that's not something that's very much. That's not something that's open all the time. It's not offered. It have to be something extraordinary. I had that conversation today. Sometimes, even in the IT world, IT mindset is they don't have to come and sit to your desk to fix your computer. They want to be able to log in from wherever they at. And right now, we still have a lot of older people. I won't say older, but the older heads that's still working in the VI government. They want the security of seeing their IT person. You know what I'm saying? So that's not something um that I could see for the VI government. For
Oh
private
Lord.
agencies, sure.
Ooh.
I actually have a good friend of mine. She works remotely through a company in the States, but is finding companies that allow you to work, from wherever. And then there's options. I guess you could buy a VPN, so you could do it that way. There's options. There's options.
Is there?
Mm.
Do you see a preference for hiring Virgin Islanders and hiring locally over someone in the mainland? But they have the skills. They live in the States. They've already got all the certifications that you're looking for, right? Is there a preference? Do you see as a as a
I don't think it's a preference. I think where it comes in, because of course, for a lot of the jobs that I post, I see a lot of people applying for them from the mainland. A lot of people already work and live their lives in the States and they'd love to retire and work in the VI for a couple years. Or they don't have children and they don't mind relocating to the Virgin Islands. But um, sometimes if it's an emergent situation, a position that we need filled immediately, it's easier to look to the talent that we have home, of course. But a lot of the government agencies are not offering relocation for a regular job. So you're gonna have to relocate yourself. You're gonna have to, you know what I'm saying? Look
that's why you
for
say live with
housing.
mom and dad.
Yeah. So if you a Virgin Island in the States, if they're interested in coming back home, there are options. They could go on the Department of Labor website, DOP website. They have all the jobs posted. A lot of our jobs are also posted on LinkedIn. So you could see what's out there and apply. You never know.
Absolutely. I
Well,
want to go ahead, Kermit.
oh
I
no,
would like
I'm so sorry.
you good. I want to
No,
tear into this.
I was speaking regarding the when you were stating that they're not really offering remote positions there in the Virgin Islands under with the government. Well, that's across the mainland in the US too as well, because they're ordering them
To come
primarily
back
to
to
be to come on in house.
yeah,
Come in here, get in these buildings that we are still renting.
yeah.
Get in these
Private
buildings, fill these
agencies
seats and
can
see
be
these
better.
people.
Yeah.
So when it comes to that, I don't see, unless you're a contractor, possibly that's the only way you could probably pull, being remotely. But other than that, it looks like they're probably going to be in house for the next 4 years
Mhm.
until the tangerine gets out the chair, whichever one.
Yeah,
So what
I could see that for government agencies, federal government for sure. But there are private companies that offer that. So it will help. It won't hurt to try and then move back.
Mhm.
But then there's also consideration that if you're living here and you're trying to work remote, you have to consider that you're gonna have to definitely get a generator just in case WAPA goes out. Because sometimes, depending on where in the islands you live, WAPA might not be reliable all the time. There's challenges there, and then of course, internet. You're gonna have to shop good internet. Right now, I have two internet providers running in my house because
mm,
when one goes up, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't
what?
want any problems with my kid. I don't want it. I don't want
Name
it.
Uh,
which one's the best?
I can't even tell you that because Lord have
They,
mercy.
they
Yes,
play both of them play a role sometimes.
yes,
They play a role.
They
yes.
tag teaming.
They
They
tag.
tag teaming. They like, hey man, you got it. I'm
Yes,
cutting the lights out this week. I'm taking a break.
yes. So there's so
Wow.
much consideration that's gonna go into people moving back. And even if you get remote work from the mainland, you gonna have to figure out creative ways because remember you might be on a call and chickens crowing in your background. How you gonna drown that out? You gonna have to be very creative.
That's a pet. That's my pet. That's
Yeah, they know exactly when you on an important call and they go
they
crow.
gonna go crazy.
Crow.
We have
So
a
So
you have
yeah.
another question, Miss Nadia, from the audience. Journey to Love TV says, are there grants or incentives for businesses to invest in the VI or hire VI locals? Like Puerto Rico offers tax breaks for business investment in Puerto Rico.
I know when I first moved back, I actually was working for an EDC company. So I know they used to do that a lot. I haven't seen a lot of those EDC companies where basically they're companies from the state side, they or anywhere in the world, they offer them some tax break to operate here. The company that I was actually working for at the time was a Harley Davidson call center, and they were operated right here in the Virgin Islands, right on the waterfront. We could have, that was our view every day.
The motorcycles? You said Harley Davidson?
Yeah, they had a Harley Davidson call center, so we used to do the surveys, like when people go in for service and stuff like that.
Really?
Hmm.
What?
That company was around here for quite a while. I worked with them for like 2 years when I first moved back, but it was still open and running for quite some time.
That is bonkers. That is bonkers. I wanna get to some sauce, right? I want to get people working. I want to get people jobs. What are some tea that corporate America? What's one thing that you could share that an employer won't admit to, but plays a big role in the hiring decision?
Well, mm-mm, mm-mm.
Come on.
I think one of my biggest things right now that I tell everybody is to make sure that they tailor their resume for the role that they're applying for. I am sick of seeing cookie cutter resumes. There's that one resume for one thing. You might be a jack of all trades and you apply for, different things. It's not hard to tailor your resume to meet whatever position you are applying for. There are AI tools that can help you. Put in your
Chat
resume,
GPT.
you put in the job description and get some help, please. And I don't, that's a strong word, but resumes that's over 2 pages, I'm not reading it. That's me. Nadia
You're
is,
not reading. You're not
I,
reading my
no,
resume
no,
that I worked
no,
hard on.
no. I don't need to know your summer work for 1995.
I know
Just
that's right.
put the stuff that's relevant to the job you are
To the point.
applying for. I don't need 10 pages of all the certifications you have. Once you get in the door, you got interview. We're gonna discuss the certifications you have, and I'm gonna be intrigued and I'm gonna ask you to share your certifications with me. But I don't need it on your resume because I'm not reading it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not
You may
reading it.
want to know that I am CPR certified, even though I'm applying for a cashier position. You
Let me
may
tell
want
you,
to know that.
I might want to know that, but you don't need to tell me on your resume. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I am guilty of being a skimmer, and I am not. If I go to open your resume, like I log on to NeoGov, which is the link for the agencies to personnel's website. And once I click on a candidate and I do their resume and it's showing me 15 pages downloaded. No, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. Sorry.
You're skipping over. You're skipping
I
over
I
that.
might not skip over you, but like if you have relevant experience that's now that's current, yeah, I might still give you the interview, but that is so annoying to me.
Mhm.
I really don't want to see nothing from 1995. Yeah, I can't. I can't. Your summer jobs, unless you're a brand new college graduate and you don't have any work experience. I don't need all of that. I am very sorry, very sorry. And then I
I'm
don't
throwing
know.
my
For
I'm throwing
me,
my name. I'm the cookie cutter. I'm the person you're
don't
speaking
do
about.
that.
Don't do too. You're
You
doing
know
too
what it
much.
is too. A
I've been
lot
in hiring. Oh no.
a lot of people I find are paying to get their resumes professionally done. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that because it's gonna be polished. However, it don't account for you applying for different positions. It don't. So if
That's
you
why I do it.
your cookie cutter one might tell me something vague. I don't even want to say vague. It might be like customer service driven and you applying for something
Technical.
um I don't know, emergency management. It's not showing me where you have that experience. I want to know that experience up front. I
But
want to see that.
but you costing me pain. I gotta go back now to Lucy
No.
Lou and say, now I need you to tailor this resume.
And
So
I
I
did
just
make
paid.
that. I did make that note. So I was saying that you could do two things. Either you could ask the person to do your resume in Word so that you could update it as you go. So you could do it that way. Or you ask them to make, if you know that you work in two industries, you could get two done. Or guess what? Use the AI tool and create a new one when you have a new job offer, please. A new job opportunity, please. Please, I'm begging.
So
I'm begging. That's my biggest pet peeve. I think that's gonna be my next TikTok video. Yeah, that's my biggest pet peeve. And then, well, I'm in the Virgin Islands, so of course we live in a very small community, and of course sometimes it comes across a name might come across, and I'd be like, oh, that person so familiar. Let me Google the person, and
mm,
of course the first thing that's gonna come up is your social media account.
that's
And
exactly what I
guess
was about
what
to
I don't
ask.
see? You smoking and drinking and partying. Mm-mm.
Yep, not
You
so
will you gonna decline me
I
because
immediately.
of
might
my social
decline you.
media?
I mightn't decline you, but I wouldn't be eager to call you back.
Why? Why does my social media
Yeah,
matter for the position?
especially in my previous position, one of the requirements is that it was you had to pass a drug test. So if I go to your Facebook page and you smoking, what are telling me?
Ain't no point. There's no point
It's a
at all.
cigarette. It's a
It's
cigarette.
not
It's
a cigarette.
no, it's no point at
It's not
all.
a cigarette. It's not
The
a cigarette.
company's not about to waste money
Or
for
you,
that test.
I've had those that they have to pass a background test, a background check, and I go on the page and they pose it with guns. So I'm like, what am
They're
I gonna
registered.
do?
No,
Yeah,
that's
they're
not
not
fair.
registered. Those aren't registered because I
That's
don't
not
think
fair.
they registered those here. But I'm just saying, yeah, just remember, and I have a recent high school graduate in my house, and that's all I keep saying. Remember, people looking. People are always looking.
Hmm.
I might still call you. I might. But just saying, I gonna look though.
And
Just
this is something too.
So
People have to remember also that even while you're young, this internet is forever. You could post something at 16 that somebody could pull up when you're 20, when you try to find another job. Like I'm professional now. Oh, that's my past. I was young. They don't care about none of that. None of
especially
that.
when you start to try to look for those federal jobs, they dig
Hmm.
in to you.
They
When I
get into
tell
your
you,
business.
yeah, they go deep. Anything that you put on that application, they call in every employer. Not only call, because I had a federal investigator come to my office. He's like, "Yep, I came with these paperwork. I doing an investigation to possibly hire this person that used to work for you." They asking me questions like, "Oh, she says she didn't smoke. Have you ever seen her smoking?" Yeah,
that's not an investigation.
Yes,
yeah,
it
I just
is.
saying, federal government is on a whole different level. So please, yeah, your social media, depending on what you're interested in getting into, maybe
Mhm.
you're an artist. Maybe you into graphic design. Okay, that's fine. Do you. But I'm telling you, if you're trying to get into a serious profession, doctor's office, anything in the federal government, be careful about your social media.
Mhm. I
Yes.
was advised that anything that you are trying to, that you need a position that any position that you're trying to get a clearance in, anything in the government, but especially ones that you're trying to get a clearance, you better move very carefully when it comes down to your social media life.
Because
Because
I've
they
had friends working for, let's say, the jails in stateside. Locally, it mightn't be that bad, but I remember I had a friend applying for a jail stateside, and he had a social media. He wasn't active on his social media, but they told him cut it off, cut it off. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be cognizant of these things. I'm sorry. Sorry. Bear up bad news. Sorry.
What's the wildest thing you found while selecting a candidate for a position and their social media completely turned it was like, listen, this is a disqualifier. What's the wildest thing you've
I'm
seen?
like that the ones that I said, I go through the pictures and it's guns and joints. And you know the funny part is I think he had more than one. So he had one that had looked like kind of cookie cutter, but like Camille mentioned, the older one might have been from maybe 2 years, 3 years prior. And I was like, oh shoot. So now we depending on, okay, if we do interview him and try to offer him this position now, can we get a clean background check? And then you asking the question, okay, you gonna get a background check. We going to is there anything there that's gonna come up that's possibly gonna hinder us for offering a job? No, I never been in trouble. Da, 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 da. The background check come back. There's something there. What's this? I don't even remember that there. Da, da, da. I'm like, if you upfront with me in the beginning, I know how to move.
Mhm.
I know how to move. Miss Farron, when I was 19, I had gained some trouble, bam, bam, bam. I could look and be like, okay, it wasn't something recent. It might have happened when you're 19, you 42 now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Mm.
you never been in trouble since. But if you lie to me and then I have to end up finding it, nah. That's not gonna. Yeah.
I have a feet finder account, right? I do modeling for my feets, right? Get paid big dollars, right? Making it making it rain, right? I got a feet finder account. Would you still hire me? You found my feet
Don't say,
finder.
I hope I didn't find your feet finder. Why?
But
I may
how
laugh. I may call
how
you
would
and ask you for some tips. No, I'm kidding, kidding.
how do you stumble upon those type of
I
accounts
know.
automatically without knowing? Like I happened to find your Feet Finder account.
When
How
you
do you
open your
stumble?
feet finder with your name,
Like I hope you wouldn't attach the
your
email that you
username.
gave to
Marcus's
the cover.
toes.
Yeah.
Like don't tell me you attached the email that you
I
gave
don't
the company
yeah.
you try to get hired by
I
to the
wouldn't bring it
account.
up, but it'll be in the back of my mind because then if I bring it up, then I'll be like, well, what kind of Tim is Farron into? I mightn't bring it up, but it'll be in the back of my mind.
Create a new email all the way.
Yes,
You still, so you still gonna look. You still
it's
gonna
gonna be in the
pursue
back
me.
of my mind for sure. It's gonna be in the back of my mind.
So,
I might
so
smirk every time I see you. Yeah, it's gonna be in the back of my
so
mind.
don't come to the interview with no flip flops. That's him. That's it.
Lord, Lord.
Okay, so guns on the social media, smoking on the social media. Can
Mhm.
would you decline me because I'm a smoker, like a cigarette smoker? Hey, we ain't got no
No,
smoke pits. We don't have no smoking
Now,
areas for you.
Marcus,
What? 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 What?
you know what type of smoker she's talking about.
no. We for cigarettes and those
Mm-hmm.
type of things. No, but if it's a position that requires, especially people that operate heavy machinery, drive equipment, different things like that. Yeah, we drug test. So
That's fair.
sorry,
But
but
until cigarettes become a part of the word drug, I don't
yeah.
know what to
And
tell
then
you.
then there's also that set that be like, oh, marijuana legal. Yeah, it might
That's
be
fair.
legal to local governments, but you also gotta remember, for the feds, it's still illegal. And if somebody is agency is drug testing you, is because they probably getting some kind of federal money, and it dictates that they have to have a drug-free workplace.
But
Mm.
I'm applying to be a janitor. I deserve a blunt or two.
If
It's a
your
janitor.
workplace, if your workplace,
The janitor deserves a smoke.
as a HR rep, I had the thought myself, boy, if they're picking up garbage, I wish I could just be like, yeah, you could, but I cannot do that. I can't say that. It's not. I had an individual fail a drug test. He called me and tell me that I am the reason he failed the drug test, and he called me and tell me he gonna report me to his senators because it's legal, marijuana legal in the VI, and I discriminated. It's not my policy. I didn't create the policy. The
Mhm.
agency was run by a board of directors. I didn't create it. So sorry.
Because at any moment, I'm pretty sure that they can decide to go forward. If they even suspect anything, they can do a random drug test at any moment.
A lot of agencies still have
Mm.
random drug test policies, and those that don't currently have it, they are working to revive it. Definitely, especially like I mentioned, those that are working with heavy equipment. Anything can happen. Anything. And I know they talk about, oh, it's on my free time. Some people want to say it's on their free time, but then during work time, they sneaking off to do it. Like, they have to draw the line someplace. I'm so sorry.
I I agree. I
Sorry.
definitely agree because when you talk about heavy machinery or very important positions, I need you to be focused.
Focus.
I don't need any chance of you to be hazing anywhere. No, no,
Yo,
focus on what you're
yeah,
doing.
yeah. I'm so
I'm a
sorry.
janitor. I'm a janitor.
Focus on the mop then, honey.
Yeah,
Focus back and forth, back and
yeah.
forth.
Do something legal with your time. Sorry, sorry,
Mm.
sorry,
So
sorry.
that's a buzzword, right? Because all these teachers
Yes,
getting busted for the OnlyFans, but you don't pay them enough as teachers, right? And so the teachers losing their jobs because the principal done found the OnlyFans account. What I gotta do with my job? Me making a side hustle. That's a completely different side hustle. This ain't got nothing to do with federal. I
right.
still can't get a job with you. Right?
Yeah,
You would
yeah.
you would you could still consider me, even though you check my social media, you saw nothing on the Facebook, you saw nothing on TikTok, you put in the Google search, here comes Marcus OnlyFans account.
I think it goes. Unfortunately, it goes back to um the expectation of the company, the agency. I guess we still in a time where we expect school teachers especially to uphold certain standards, and be a positive influence on children. And most of the time it's not even the children that's finding the social media, it's their parents,
Parents.
especially moms. But yeah, I'm sure they had some clause there that the teachers had to sign about keeping a professional appearance in and out of the workplace.
It was so wild to me. I remember a friend of mine, she ran a daycare, and one of her it was a daycare, one of her I guess they're teachers, one of her teachers, um the parents were very involved with the principal and the director and all that stuff. And it was this new hire that just hired the girl was very excited, she got a job, she just got her certifications, her CPR, all this stuff, right? And then a family member found the girl's social media. She was celebrating on New Year's because she had just got the job before New Year's, so she's bringing in the new year with a new job and she's very excited because she's scantily
Mhm.
clad, dressed, and celebrating and popping it on New Year's on her social media. The family member reported to the director and the board of education that this is what she's wearing on
Yep.
social media and lost her job because of it.
Yep. I
Why?
like this. Yeah, I see it. I could see it happening because, especially for private schools, they sign off on you know a, making an appearance. You have to have a certain standard in and outside of your school time. um it
It's a
sucks.
close.
Yeah, it sucks, but it's
Mhm.
probably something that she bypassed when she signed on for the job. But that's that's another reason why it's so important to be careful what you post. My sister-in-law, we can't go out anywhere and I take a picture and post it. She don't allow her friends to post when she's out having fun because of the type of work that she do. You know what I'm saying? It is unfortunate, but I can't be a drug or alcohol counselor and have videos of me on social media getting drunk.
Two,
It can't happen.
two things. What does your sister do that she can't take pictures on social media?
Not
And what y'all be doing on what do y'all be doing that
nothing,
you
but like
can't
I
take?
said,
Okay.
she do drug or alcohol counseling.
Okay. Okay.
So of course, you know what I'm saying, she don't want to be seen in that light. I wouldn't.
Hmm.
Yeah, you
I could,
That's
cannot.
I
That's
definitely understand
responsible.
that. You
that's
Yeah,
fair.
wouldn't want to see that, and she's supposed to be counseling you the next morning, and she getting lit in the morning before. Like,
She
ma'am,
hungover. I'm
how did
hungover, but
how,
you
be
need to
like,
stop.
as soon as she hit that person with "Good morning," well, how was Cinco de Mayo yesterday? Because I saw
exactly,
that you was lit.
exactly. And people take things to the extreme. Also, people take things to the extreme. So just avoid it. Just avoid it. Take your pictures for yourself. You don't have to post
Mhm.
everything on social media. Enjoy your time with your friends and family. Live in the moment. Stop taking pictures and videos
That's
and
fair.
stop posting them. I am sorry. Enjoy it now. The whole world don't have to see it. I am sorry. Don't post it. Make your money, Marcus, but just use a different email
Alias.
address and a name, please, please.
That's fair. I
Yeah.
want Miss Farron, is cover letters still necessary, or are they secretly ignored
No.
most of the time?
It
Ooh.
makes your package complete. It makes your package
What?
complete. Yeah, it do.
But
You
It
will
do.
does
read my cover letter, but you won't read. Sorry,
Yeah,
go ahead.
because usually your cover letter gonna give me the bullet points that I expecting on your resume. You know what I'm saying? So I personally, I'm not speaking for every HR person, but I personally might just read um your cover letter and then verify some of your work experience from your resume. But if your resume plus a cover letter, like 15 pages is that packet? Mm-mm.
so. So cover letter can't be a dissertation. Please
No,
no. Cover
no.
letter, cover letter, resume, 2 pages together. That's it.
I
That
would
is
I would give them
perfect.
three. I would give them three. If it includes a cover letter, I'll give them three. If it's just the resume by itself, do not pass 2 pages. Do not pass 2 pages. Do not
I
make it
I
work.
get
And I
it.
know people like to do all these colors and fanciness. Find a way. Do bullet points. Figure it out. There's options. Figure it out. But don't pass 2 pages for the resume and then 1 page for your cover letter, please.
So somebody gave me a really great depiction that in a stack of resumes, picture on your desk a stack of resumes that you have to now go through. Me changing the color or printing my resume on a yellow or hot pink or blue will make that resume stand out to you who has to go through that stack like, oh, look at it, this giant stack, and but there's a pink one in the
That's
middle. Let me go to
old.
that one first. Is that
That's old stuff. That's old thinking because right now, you're not actually coming and giving me your resume. So I'm downloading your resume from the service that you
and you print it
applied
off,
for
right?
that. Correct. So I print it off. Um, I know people do like, different blacks and they do maybe a splash of color across the top. I've seen people do it with their picture, a little headshot on there. Yeah, something eye catching that way, but yeah, you could do something, but just don't make it too much. Not too much.
That's fair. Okay. Okay. I got you. What's your take on age discrimination in hiring? Does it exist? Does it exist in the Virgin Islands?
Hmm. I won't say it exists in the Virgin Islands. To me, because we still have a lot of older people still in the workplace, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it exists in the Virgin Islands. I could
You
see that stateside.
Oh,
you don't take into someone's consideration their ability to use technology and their age. If the job is
If the
requires
job. Yes, if the job requires it. If the job requires it, it depends on the job, and this is where tailoring your resume, no matter the age group, is going to come to play. If you are applying for administrative position, you gonna tell me all the apps and everything that you could use, Word, Excel. You gonna list those things there, all your skills. um so if you are an older person, you applying for those type of position, I would expect to see that you're proficient in using the computer. I'd expect to see that.
But Miss Nadia, we just discussed earlier that I could pay somebody. I could pay someone to type up and put all the words
No
in my
man,
resume,
But
and then I
you
come.
was
You
in.
selected me. You selected me. I come marching through with my walker, and now
Let me find out you were in my notes, Marcus. You were in my notes. Part of my little notes about the application and the resume is that I don't want you to lie either. I definitely do not. And I have friends that
they are
do
going to
that apply
lie.
for job at Hovenza, and they telling these people they're pipe fitters and they have such a such experience. You better get online and figure out how to do that, because when you come to the job, remember you have a probationary period. So if it's
Mm-hmm.
6 months, 1 year, and you are not cutting it, I am one of those HRs that's telling the manager, stop
Cut.
complaining, cut them.
you go to the manager and tell him to cut the
If
person because
they come in and complaining to me. They come in complaining to me. They sat on the interview with me, and you wow them. They telling me, yes, I gotta bring this person on because they have
Mm-hmm.
all the experience. Blah 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 blah. 2 months in, they come in complaining. They lie. They don't have this. They can't do this. And I'm saying, okay, what are you doing about it? You have a probation period. Don't let a probation
Mm-hmm.
period end and they still on this job. If they're not picking up what they need to pick up within that probation time, I am cutting. I telling
Yep.
that supervisor make the recommendation. I am so serious. So
You
serious.
tell Davis, go come
So
on and hang
serious.
back for me. Yeah, don't follow them
So
out when everybody
serious.
clock out. Hang back for me.
No. I can't
Hang.
But I'm saying to you, as an HR person who's interviewing the candidate, you don't make that before they even get on the job. I may not even want you to even show me or potentially show me like you a pipe fitter, and then you're it's Hovenza, and or you're supposed to climb these towers or work on these
you say
windmills,
that.
and then you come in the door and you're like, yeah, I've had a bad back since
And
whenever.
we're
Don't
not
you make the decision right there to say, listen,
we're
I
not
can't.
keeping you. We're not keeping you. I am telling you, there are people that could fool you. They fool you through the
Mm-hmm.
interview. You could ask them all the technical questions. We have to remember they live in a world where they Google into. They're using YouTube, YouTube University, and they're learning things to be able to come into this interview and wow you about their skills until they reach on the job.
Yeah,
But there are oftentimes I'm telling supervisors, if they're not performing, stop complaining, put pen to paper. Let's make this recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not keep them.
I have another question because I was reading some articles regarding how they, there's some people who speak very, I was about to say highly, absolutely not, low key, lowly about Gen Zs and some millennials. Well, primarily hiring Gen Zs coming in saying that they don't really want to work. What is your take on that being in HR? Are they hiring more Gen Zs? Are they making decisions not to based off of what they're seeing coming out of the school systems? What's going on?
For me, as long as they have the experience and skills that's required, I don't mind having a conversation. I don't mind interviewing. I don't mind even hiring them. Um, but you won't know unless you give them a chance. I had one of my colleagues. She made that same statement to me. She was hiring a younger person, and she said, a lot of her colleagues were trying to tell her not to hire the person because she's young, she not gonna work out. And she was like, I'm trying to give the younger generation a chance to prove themselves. If you sit down and think about, oh, they're not gonna come to work, they're gonna be late every day, um or they're not gonna stay. If you think about that, then you're not gonna hire anybody, you're not gonna fill
Mm.
any positions. So I try not to think about it. I try to give them the benefit of the doubt, especially if I give them the opportunity to come in for an interview and they present themselves well. If they come, some of the Gen Zs a little while, they gonna come in like whatever, whatever,
Hmm.
whatever, t-shirt, jeans, um, even if it's virtual, printed tees with all kind of sayings or something on it, and I'm like,
So that's great. I want to. Sorry, I don't want to cut Carmia's question short, but let's talk about that attire.
yes.
What is do you? If I'm applying again, I'm gonna stick with trash. I'm applying to be a janitor.
Hmm.
I show up in jeans and a t-shirt because I'm applying for a position that's I'm gonna get dirty. I'm gonna be doing heavy lifting. I'm gonna be sweating. I'm gonna be stinking. I may even wear a jumper or a jumpsuit or whatever the case may be. Do you give
Unless you
any
come in
consider?
from another job, like I've had that where they're applying to work with my agency now, so they are actively working and they come in to me from work. So I won't say anything about them coming in their coveralls. But if they're not currently working and they come in, I'm not saying they have to come in a button down shirt and hard bottom shoes. I'm saying to come presentable, a polo shirt,
Mhm.
even if it's jeans, a clean jeans pants, no holes,
No ripped jeans.
no ripped jeans, please. I keep telling my daughter that too. And I even think it's in some of the handbooks for the government, because they have Fridays, dress down Fridays. But you can't take it to the extreme. Don't come to a job in leggings. Don't come to your interview in leggings.
I would think that some of these things
No,
are very
no,
common
no,
sense. But my mother used to say all the time that
no.
sense ain't so common, and it's
No,
still the same. It's
no,
still the
no.
same.
Or
Well,
you come in there was an interview and she showed up in um how you say that, one of the t-shirts for a candidate for I can't remember if it was
political.
yes, a political. Yep.
You can't have a polit.
I
That's
wouldn't. I wouldn't.
you wouldn't wear
No, not to interview. No. 'Cause I would feel like you're trying to intimidate me. Mm-mm.
with a political affiliation shirt.
Remember, this is a small community.
I come in with
So
a Donald
is
Trump shirt. You
yes. And
Yes,
what you trying to tell me? Mm-mm,
you ain't
mm-mm.
about to get it just based off a t-shirt. I
I
ain't gonna
ain't
hold
trying to say that you getting a job because of the t-shirt, but for me, it's like you trying to tell me, oh, this might be this who I support, and if you get me this job, you know what gonna happen to you if something happened to me. Nah, no, don't do that. Just put on a regular shirt, a polo shirt. Just put on a polo shirt or a nice top for the females, a nice top, please, please, please.
so today Carmia is wearing the black hair. What if a pink hair? She come in with a pink wig. Is that an acceptable attire for a job interview? Or the
I
blonde,
would.
and she's not a natural blonde.
Oh, blonde.
it.
I don't mind the blonde. The blonde, I don't mind. Pink. Oh my.
I think
I gonna give you a sec. I go, yeah. You gonna have
that,
to really wow me during this interview. You gonna have to really like
whew,
knock my boots off
What
and show
is
me that you. Cause
what?
suppose I'm trying to hire you to be the receptionist for my front desk area. So this is what I'm gonna see to my front desk every day.
The pink hair? Yeah,
Oh, you
ain't
gonna
gonna.
really have to be superb,
whew.
superb. You gonna have to really wow me, and I don't see that happening.
So So pink, no pink wigs, no breath. So blonde is acceptable.
Yeah, I cause that's
If
something normal now.
if
I've
it's a
seen
presentable,
long they applying for receptionist or something in data entry and they have super long nails and I'm like, okay, okay.
Did no nails? I can
I
have.
I wouldn't. I know. I just it just depends on what you are applying for. But if you doing something like secretary, a receptionist, in my mind I'm gonna be thinking, how fast can she type?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
She said 90 words per minute, baby.
She gonna gotta prove it to me. And if she prove it to me, okay, you gonna have this job, mama.
So French tips, ladies, y'all.
Yeah, yeah,
well, for
yeah.
me, I get maybe can a little longer, but I'm an analyst. So
Exactly. Yeah,
I key very quickly. I've been
yeah.
keying with nails for the longest. So,
And I
but
remember
I can't.
lots of places have testing. For my emergency call center division, once you apply with division of personnel, they actually give you a test before they even send you to us for interview. So there's testing. So they're gonna test you right up front. You're gonna have to prove that you could type with them nails. You're gonna have
Mm-hmm.
to prove you can multitask with those nails.
Or take
Yeah.
the press ons off at the test and pop, 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 pop. I
Yeah.
can't get
You
it.
don't have to prove. You don't have to prove it. So just be careful. You're gonna have to definitely prove it.
Wow, wow. So ladies and gentlemen, no pink hair, no ripped jeans, no
No,
political affiliations, no
no,
make America great again, ball caps,
no,
right? No
no.
um
Where it said keep it simple, stupid. Yeah, please keep it simple.
hoop earrings. Can she have hoop earrings or the what's the one?
The big bamboos.
Yeah, the big bamboos, or she
Keep
got
it
the ear,
simple.
the whole
Keep
ear,
it
like one of
simple.
those earpieces that go all it spell out her whole name.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Yes,
Keep
sir.
it simple, please. I'm not saying you won't get a job because of your earrings, but it could be a turn off. It could be a turn off. And if you are neck and neck with another candidate, that other candidate might just get over you because of how you appear on your interview.
I want
You can
to.
still show your individuality with your style
Always.
and be presentable at the same
Yeah.
time. That's for men and women. I've seen it done.
Ooh. You
I
know what I
promise
want
you
you
it's
to touch
possible.
on for interviews? Because I see the time already.
You're good.
Um, Interviews. So two things.
Mhm.
Practice. I know a lot of people get nervous during interviews, and it happens. It happens to the best of us. So my suggestion is to maybe practice some interview questions. If you are applying for again a receptionist position, you might want to Google some questions that's typically asked during a receptionist interview, and they're gonna give you like 50 questions. Practice them. Of course, they're gonna always ask you that same question about what's your strength and weakness. They're gonna ask that in several different ways. So don't be fumbling about what your strengths and weaknesses are.
Have that
Let's
down cold.
Yeah, have that down. One of my biggest pet peeves, and this is something that I plan to do another TikTok and too. Be positive or try to spin everything positive during your interview. Um, a lot of interviewers gonna ask you something about how you deal with conflict, how you deal with conflict with with a supervisor, your co-workers, customers. They're gonna ask you how you would deal with conflict. Don't go off on a tangent about your current supervisor and how you guys had a cussing match, and don't do that. Don't do that. Or they might ask you the question about why you applying for this job. Don't go on about, oh, I don't give these people 10 years of my life and they don't respect me and they're not promoting me. You don't have to say it like that. You don't have to be negative. Spin everything into a positive. Yeah, I don't want to hear the bad business about your current employer. Sorry.
How do I spin the question of you ask, because you ask, one of the questions is you ask is a negative. What
Yeah.
are your weaknesses? That's a negative question that you just asked me, and you're
Um,
asking me to directly tell you what I'm weak in. How do I spin that for the
you
positive?
can spin it. You could spin it because, first of all, you could say, something that you're currently working on. You might say that, I might have a problem. A good answer I find a lot of people keep, been using is, I have a hard time saying no to my coworkers. So I am working on, number one, either being able to multitask or being able to prioritize my tasks. That's something I am working on. Sometimes you try to be positive. You are positive but honest. So you honest and positive. I've had people tell me, "Oh, I've had problems with being on time, just because I have little ones. So I've had some issues with that, but that's something I'm working on." That's what I'm trying to hear from you, that you acknowledge that you have some shortcomings, and you are actively working on it. Or you might find the cocky ones that be like, I have nothing, I don't do nothing wrong. Like they might have the cocky ones, but just how they spin it might make the interviewer smile, and they're gonna remember you. You know what I'm saying? So don't shy away from the negative questions. Just make sure that you put a positive spin on it.
Okay, I have a two-parter question, and it talks about, some people say, "Hey, get the work, get the education, get the certifications," but I think in today's age, I think it's who you know, right? I know someone at the company. I know somebody. I know Nadia.
But that's why it's
Not
important to network.
so. Is that? Do you think that that's wrong? Right? Because Carmia doesn't know anybody in the Virgin Islands, but I do. Should
It,
should, should you overlook Carmia for the same position because I know someone in the Virgin Islands or at the company?
But gonna be that should be the reason why Camilla is trying to push herself. It's not only about having the experience and the knowledge, is about letting these people know your name. And I think I had that as one of my points too. I really shouldn't say that as a HR representative, but you want to kind of be persistent. So Camilla might not know somebody in the Virgin Islands, but she gonna keep calling and being like, "Oh, Miss Fran, I noticed you didn't have anything posted this month, but please remember me if you post anything in such and such field." Like those I won't say continuous. Don't call me every week. Don't call me every week. But keep your name in their mind. I have people call me from time to time, maybe every 2-3 months, because in the government, VI government, there's a process, so we have to do approvals before we even post. So you might hear about something, that a vacancy that we have, but we are pending the approvals on the back end before we could even post the job. So people might call and be like, "I know you have this position open because such and such left the position." So they call and be like, "Oh, don't forget me, So I'll be like, "Okay, I might not actually know the person. Me, I am in my mind, I'm very introvert, just saying. So I might not know the person, but they call me at least every 2 to 3 months to see what's going on. And at some point, I'm going to either write your name down on my desk someplace, or I gonna print your resume that you sent, and I'll stick it in the folder with a like position. Like if it's administrative, I'll put it with admin position. So when something come up, it'll be there.
You're
You know what
gonna
I'm
give
saying?
in.
Yeah. So even though Camilla don't know people in the Virgin Islands, networking
networking.
within the industry is gonna be really important. Like I said, I am not the most outgoing person. My family is more outgoing and more known. Most of the times when people meet me and they see me with my sister or my mother, like, "Oh, I didn't know that was your mother. I didn't know. Why you didn't tell me?"
But
No,
that
I
shouldn't make a difference, though. That should
it
not make a
shouldn't,
difference in the
but
job.
like you said, it does. It does. So that's why it's gonna be important for you to put yourself out there. That's actually part of professional development. So you might want to join a community, like for me, for HR. like I said, I got into the HR game kind of late. It wasn't what I went to school for. So I am a member of the local SHRM, which is organization for HR professionals. So I'm a member locally of their chapter and their national organization also. They offer a certification that you could pay for. You could, some jobs pay for it for you. Sometimes you have to be responsible for your own professional development. So you might want to join organizations that's in your industry so you could network. Everybody knows somebody that knows somebody. That's how you gonna know somebody.
Absolutely. That's unique. What's up, Dantes Trump? That's
Yes.
so powerful, and I appreciate you spilling the tea on that because I again I have a hard time with networking. I hate networking. I'm an introvert just like yourself. And people say is your network is your net worth. I hate that.
It
Give me
is.
the job because I'm qualified to do the job and you need this position
But
filled or else you wouldn't
something's
be
gonna
posting it.
have to set you. I am telling you, is I might have one position and four applicants identical qualifications in some way. Either they have the same educational background, they have similar experiences. I might have called their references. If they work for other agencies, I call the agency and be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And they give them glowing recommendation. What is going to set you apart from everybody else? It gonna have to be your networking. It going to have to be that. Sorry.
I hear you. What's one major mistake employees make that prevents them from getting promoted at the job?
From in my personal experience, I think like how you say that, just saying everything that comes to your head. In my
Mm,
younger days, I was very much like that. Everything that came to my head came straight out of my mouth. No filter.
a Virgo?
No filter. No,
Well,
I am a
what we not
cancer.
going what we not gonna do
I'm a
is do
cancer.
that. I just got. Don't do that.
Yeah, and I definitely had that problem right up front. And I was the person, like, the a real West girl, a real fireborn, like, oh, that ain't right, and injustice. And I was that person all the time. And I know for a fact that kept me back. Because I was qualified. I had my degree. I came back to the Virgin Islands with my degree. But just because of my mindset. So there things like that could definitely hold you back. I'm not telling you to be a simp. I'm not telling you to take abuse. I just tell you to be cognizant of things that come out of your mouth.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Every cause, you don't have to fight every cause. Everything don't have to be a battlefield. So pick your battles. Pick your
Mhm.
battles. So employees, I tell them this all the time. You don't have to fight everything. Sometimes your manager might be you might feel like your manager tricking you, and it might work out for the benefit. So that in my HR role, I am so many things. In your HR, you the psychiatrist, psychologist, the chaos coordinator. But when they come to vent, I try to spin it to show them, okay, maybe this is why your supervisor is saying this. Everything don't have to be a fight. Everything don't need a response. Everything. Some things you just hold in the back of your head. I'm not saying forgive and forget everything. Jot it down in a little book, but everything don't have to be a fight.
That's fair. That's fair. This is incredible. This was incredible, incredible conversation. Ms. Nadia, you have shared so many nuggets, so many tips to help people land their dream job, and I appreciate you.
Let's hope.
Yes, let's hope.
Let's hope.
If you found someone and you confronted someone or found someone that was just struggling to fail at a job, you shared so many nuggets this episode. But what advice would you give to that someone who keeps failing job interviews, never getting picked up, but doesn't know why they're failing that interview and not
I
landing that
think
interview?
some of the things that I shared definitely would be it. So maybe their nervous tick during the interviews definitely is one. Maybe it's them rambling on. For every question, you don't need a 15-minute response. So definitely rambling. Watch your rambling for every question, and the positivity. Try to spin everything, even if it's a question they ask you about conflict or something negative. Still spin it. Try to show how you were able to work it out. Like, even if the real situation didn't end in you and your supervisor holding hands and walking down the street, but try to spin it in a positive light.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Powerful, 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 y'all. So we gotta let this incredible woman go. She has many more lives to change and many more HR professionals to train and many more interviews to decline. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I sure do. I sure do.
Miss Nadia, how can people
Thank
find you? How can people connect with you if they want some useful advice for that job interview?
I am on LinkedIn. You could definitely try my name, Nadia Fearon. Unfortunately, my Facebook was hacked. So now if you are trying to find me on Facebook, is my name still Nadia Fearon? It's just backwards. So spell it out backwards and you'll be able to find me.
Connect, and get some useful tips so you can land that dream job. Karmea, you got any advice for our audience?
Well, I was a supervisor in my past. So with that being said, everything she said is very correct. I hope you guys take that and also keep it in your brains while you're going forward, especially in this economy we're in now. You can find the position that you need. You just gonna have to keep pushing and keep on updating yourself to the
Yeah.
times.
So you were a lot of things in the past.
Childish. Childish. That's what we doing. Boy, 2025 is something else. I can't.
God, my Facebook was hacked. Look at God. Look at God. Look at God.
Childish.
Look at God. See?
Connect, y'all. You can do it. Don't give up. Don't quit. You can do it. You can land your dream job. You can land your ideal job. Don't give up. You absolutely just got to stick in there and connect with Miss Nadia for HR tips on what you can do to improve your interview game.
Definitely.
So we are out of time, y'all. We got to let this incredible woman go. But like we end every show, take care of your friends, take care of your family, and always, always take care of business. This is Marcus, your favorite gentleman, and
Karmea Wells, the unorthodox Southern Belle.
And our incredible guest,
Nadia Fearon.
signing off. Love you guys. Bye.